My name's Götz Lennig. Been working in consumer electronics for over 20 years. Really started working with consumer electronics retailers when I worked at Sky Television, selling subscriptions, mainly through consumer electronics retail. Then moved to Apple, so gift cards, also mainly consumer electronics retail, but also grocery. Then moved to Facebook, Meta, and basically launched the VR business for them in EMEA from scratch. So there was nothing in place, and that's how we met. So like I said, we started the business from scratch. We were just a handful of people, really. I was actually the first sales guy they ever hired, but I was doing everything, from channel marketing to working with distries, working with retailers, obviously, but really starting from scratch. I was, launching all these retailers throughout Europe, really. So I wasn't focused on Germany. And then, talking to distries, especially Tech Data, they mentioned that, they know an agency that might be able to help me. So had a call with you guys. I think we met, this is probably 7 years ago. Before Christmas, I remember this vividly, in a media market in Wetzlar. And that's how I met you guys, and that's how we started our business. And you guys basically were the backbone of our operation from a sales and channel marketing perspective. So you were really essential and the key to the quick success we had, launching new retailers, really setting up the business, growing fast. So that was key. That's how we met. Yeah. From day one, I was really amazed by, I would say, the level of energy and your focus on detail. You were really close to what we wanted to achieve. You were always 100% aligned, always asking questions when you didn't really understand what we tried to do or were trying to do. And I think, your attitude of we can make this work for you any which way, whatever you ask, we'll go and do it. But at the same, also making recommendations that were really valuable, because you were really in the middle of everything that was happening, which gave me the opportunity to really look at the top line, be more strategic, while you guys were, doing the operational stuff, but still giving a lot of insights that helped us from a strategic point of view. So I think speed, I think you guys were amazingly fast, if we had interest in a certain retailer, next day you'd call me and tell me, well, already talked to those guys. Let's have a meeting. So I think that was really unique. And, I have a lot of experience working with agencies. And what also really stands out is your focus on data. And, that's great when you work for American companies, really every company now, data is the basis of all decision making. And you certainly had a USP compared to other agency in that space. But I think your ability to build really good relationships with retailers, that was really key. Also gave us the opportunity to, be really straightforward in what we wanted with retailers. And you always were in between, sort of working both ways as an intermediate. And I think that was strategically really important to have a buffer between us as a brand and what we wanted to achieve, and then the retailer on the other hand. And, you played both sides really well. I think the key really for us was to have a one-stop shop. We didn't necessarily want to talk to 3 different agencies who cover certain areas of the stuff that we needed. And I think you guys were really quick to realize we need to add services to make this work. Not only for Meta, but for other brands as well. And, the way you approached it with, a data-driven approach and then really selecting, I was also really impressed by the kind of people that you selected. I know, what typical sales guys who go into stores look like, but you were able to get people into the team that were really different to, what brands are used to, especially in Germany. So I think the selection of people, the staff you selected for the field sales team was amazing. I think the speed of, how you set that up, and also the confidence that you had in, you really truly believed you were going to be able to do this and to do this really well. And And you did really, from day one. I think your team understood what we wanted to get done in retail on store level. The feedback was crazy good. We could look at store level data, pictures of every store. And from my perspective, knowing all these other agencies, that exist, it wasn't even a level playing field. You were so far ahead of the competition, although you just started this team. So that was amazing. Yeah, I think, the shift from physical to online since COVID is kind of obvious, so there has been a transformation. I think we will see numbers of stores. You look at MediaMarkt, for example, but also other retailers with physical stores, especially in consumer electronics. I think we will see a reduction of stores going forward still, but every brand knows that they need to have physical presence. I think that retail, in the sense of the physical presence, will change. It'll be a window to the brand. It's more around experience, experiencing the brand, experiencing the solution that the brand offers. Typically brands don't just sell a product, they sell a solution to some sort of problem. And I think consumers want to understand the brand as a whole. And that's something you can only achieve in physical retail. I think, the advantages of online retail are kind of obvious, but I think retail and companies like you, they have to be ready to enable brands to really come to life as a brand as a whole, not just showing products, but talking about the brand in physical retail. That is key. If physical retail wants to survive, they have to have people on the ground who can actually physically talk to people who are interested in a brand or a solution. So I think that should be part of your solution as well, because, if you look at retail, you go into retail stores, very hard to find sales staff. So that's probably an area where you guys can also offer a solution to retail. So they have a one-stop shop as well. So essentially, people have been talking about that for a long time, but I think we're going to see that happening, is that retail just gives you the space. And as a brand, you do what you want to do in that space. Obviously, selling products has always been the focus area, but brands understand the added value of physical retail, not just sales. They understand the marketing value. So I think, we will still have physical retail, but brands and agencies need to be ready to shift from just selling products to displaying the brand as a whole and explaining to the customer what they get besides the product. I think my experience with you is that, there's no challenge that's too big for you. I think conceptually, you're really good. I think you're well prepared. You're, well set up to tackle those issues for brands and turn a challenge into an opportunity. I think you guys have everything in your toolbox already to make that happen. So I think if you're a brand and you want to come to Europe, or you want to go outside of your home turf, and if you are sure about the region that you want to go into, I would say you need people on the ground that work for you on your payroll, but don't overinvest. Got one person that has a broad spectrum of experience, and then obviously find an agency that can help you with the legwork. If another brand was to hire me to run their business in EMEA, I would go straight to you, obviously, because I have had such a good experience with you guys. But overall, not specifically, you, I think the brand needs to understand that, especially Europe is very complex. We're very fragmented in terms of retail in certain countries, especially Germany. So I think you need to invest in your own staff, use solutions that exist in the market. And yeah, I would definitely recommend you guys. Yeah. I don't see any other, and I know the market in terms of agencies available. You're the best agency out there. It's, point blank. That's what it is.